Okay, guys, look, having discussions with some people this morning, conversations go into the weeds sometimes. And after having that conversation, the importance of propaganda. And sometimes propaganda people pick up decades ago or 10 years ago, and they tend to hold on to it. And, you know, through time, people become, a powerful influence in, like, say, the conservative movement. And some people just abandon all. They abandon the Republican Party. They don't like being labeled nothing no more but, they what they're doing now. And right now, America first. And I don't abandon being a conservative just to be labeled America first. And I don't abandon being labeled Republican to be America first. Not all people in America first will agree on everything. Just like all Republicans don't agree on everything, all conservatives don't agree on everything. And some people might be intermingling in all of these little labels. Some of them could be controlled opposition operatives, causing chaos, muddying the conversation. And, you have this in every group, every single group. And I see it all the time. And especially when I research people and find out, hey, this guy's not even a Republican. He's backed by all Democrats, or 90% Democrats, actually fund him. So, we run into all this stuff, and it's complicated. And, people are purposely muddying the waters, And I'm trying to work on and finish up the candidate research on all the Libertarian candidates in North Carolina. And I'm trying to get help with that, to, basically just get the word out. If you're voting third party, you're wasting your vote because, the Libertarian Party of North Carolina is funded by a Kamala Harris, Tim Walz campaign volunteer named Joseph Eaton Groves. Joseph Eaton Groves. But anyway, the thing is, you get into the weeds about this or that, and somebody disagrees based on propaganda that they've picked up somewhere. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I'll have to research that. And I do the research, and it doesn't align with what they say. Oh, you're a search engine, this, that. Well, I can go research all them names I was given, individually, and get it out there. If it, to end this propaganda, and get the facts about the whole situation. All right, here you go. I was presented because somebody seen my post about Zionism and stuff like that. After I was already blocked, somebody else blocked me on X this morning, Carrie Baxter Donovan. She made a post about asking the definition of Judaism and Zionism, learn it, live it, and all that stuff, So I just, replied back with the definitions of both, and, bam, blocked me, made a comment and blocked me and all this, that, and other. Well, anyway, it don't matter. She can block me all she wants. It ain't gonna solve nothing. Matter of fact, it hurt the situation because I wanted, I've learned some things from her. Hopefully she's learned some things from me in the past, and all good. We don't have to agree on. That's the thing with me. You don't have to agree with me on everything to be friends with me, But anyway, I guess on her definition of Zionism, if you don't agree with her totally 100%, she becomes a totalitarian block. She don't want to have nothing to do with you and ain't going to help you with your projects. And so now I can't help her with her projects, and that's all fine too. I've helped her in the past. She's helped me in the past. But if one little issue that really doesn't matter a whole lot in the whole grand scheme of things, If that divides us, fine. Be done with it. And but then I'm talking to somebody else, and they see my post. I'm not even talking about this. I'm working on the libertarian stuff because it's more directed right straight at our upcoming election. And anyway, they see that post about the Zionist stuff, and we go all out in the weeds on that. And I'm sitting there like, well, I've never been an activist on that to start with. This is just what I was faced with this morning, and I answered to it. That's my answer to it. And but it has nothing to do with what I'm working on. It's really an issue that's a non-issue for me. But anyway, propaganda is an important issue because it affects all of us. Here we go, propaganda. This is what this video is about, propaganda. It exists on both sides, every side, this side, that side, all sides. Propaganda. People propagandize things. And I was faced with the issue that I shouldn't support anything Jewish because the Jews own the porn industry in the United States. Really? That's a bold statement. So I looked it up. It's a wide paintbrush statement against a whole race of people, And I've never been an activist on Jews or for Jews or against Jews. I'm not a Jew. And to my knowledge, I don't have any Jewish ancestry. I'm not a descendant of Jews that I know of. But I've met some Jews. The ones I've met were the nicest people I've ever met. Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Matter of fact, one was right here in Williamston at the gas station. His truck broke down. He had a moving truck, like a big U-Haul type kind of vehicle. Well, he went to go crank it up. Nothing happened after he filled up with gas. And he was trying to figure it out, get some help. And he was on his phone. I said, hey, brother, let me take a look at your fuse box. I'll help you out. And we talked a lot, during that situation. I found his fuse box. And it was a blowed fuse, like a maxi fuse. And I got him up and running. And he went on about his way. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I don't care what his religion is. We all got religious freedoms in America. And he can be an Old Testament Jew or a New Testament Jew. I don't beat all in the weeds and make enemies over that stuff because I'm not supposed to. He's got, if you want to be a advocate for your religion, you're not going to do it by being totalitarian. You'll turn people away. So if you're a Christian, don't be totalitarian about your Christianism, because the Judaism or whatever ism that they profess, if they're going to be totalitarian about it, I'm not going to listen to it. So anyway, let's get away from the totalitarianism and the false propaganda. The statement that Jews own the porn industry, built the porn industry. Yeah, a couple Jewish people were involved in the porn industry. So were some Arab people. So were some Canadians. So were some Americans. Their names are all up there. So were some Australians. So why aren't we labeling them? We're labeling one people, the Jews. I'm not, and we're not. Some have, and some have listened to that propaganda without researching it. But when you give them some research, they deny your research. It's not a credible source to them because they believed this stuff for years and years. They didn't give any research. At least I did. But anyway, that's where we're at. Propaganda. Just because you've heard it don't mean it's true. Just because you've heard it for decades don't mean it's true. Just because you've believed it for decades don't mean it's true. And don't align it with our movement, our party, our conservatism. Don't align it with our America First. It don't belong there. Never did, never will. That's the type of mess the Democrats do. That's the type of mess the communists do, the propaganda, the socialists. You know, that's their gig. You know, false propaganda will ruin you because when you've used it for years and it's found out that it's not true, then it's used against you. That's where they messed up. That's where we don't need to be beaten in the weeds. Get rid of the false propaganda. If you're going to say it, research it first. Get rid of the false propaganda in the conservative, Republican, America First realm. Get it out. Get it out of your head. Research it and get it out of your head. I'm done with this. If I can't, I just, trying to get people to help me get the word out about the Libertarian Party of North Carolina and their candidates. They don't want to help, that's fine. They ain't going to affect our friendship none at all. But when you go blocking me and name calling me a Zionist, hell, you see what happened? Now I'm calling myself a Zionist unabashedly. I don't care about people having dual citizenship. I was born in America and I've lived in America. I don't need dual citizenship anywhere. I don't care about dual citizenship. I'm America First, but I'll also support Israel. I don't have any problem with supporting Israel. Just because there's one or two bad apples in that basket don't mean they're all bad. There can be people come from Iran right now. There's a lot of bad apples in that basket. Don't mean all of them bad. And I'm not going to run around with this great big wide paintbrush spreading false propaganda, paintbrushing a whole race of people or a whole country full of people, millions of people. I'm not going to paint them all with the same paintbrush, a big wide one. I ain't going to describe all Jews as owning the porn industry in the United States. Let's call them out by name. If we're going to call them out, call out the individuals. And don't paintbrush the whole race of people. That's the type of stuff Hitler done. That has no business in America First. It has no business in conservatism. And it has no business in the Republican Party. Never has, never will. Stop painting people with paintbrushes. Big wide ones. Have a good day, y'all.